All right, so yeah, moving on with the Ubisoft events, right? Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You know, how are we feeling about that? This is the second time we've seen it. You know, so we got a little bit more information. So what are we thinking?
So for me, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game in a very long time.
What was the last one you played?
What was it? Black Flag? What was the pirate one?
The greatest one ever.
The greatest one.
Okay.
Black Flag.
Okay.
Black
Yeah.
Flag.
So I played that one, and that one was fantastic. Then I took a break. I didn't play. What was the last one? Origins, Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
So
there was also the other one that was like in London.
Yeah,
I forgot
Syndicate.
what that one. Yeah, Syndicate.
Yeah,
So-
it actually went Black Flag. Unity came after Black Flag, right?
No, I think
Brotherhood
Unity was before, or something like that.
I think it came after. No, it came after.
Okay.
Unity came after because everyone was mad they got rid of the ocean.
Okay.
And it went back to land base,
Then they
right?
went to Rogue.
And then it went Rogue, which was Xbox only, right? Or past generation only,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
they brought it. I would like to actually play that one
They
because I think
brought it
it
back.
mirrors Black Flag
It was
the
the
most.
same thing as Black
Same
Flag,
thing. And then you had Syndicate, and then they reimagined AC. They reimagined the whole series and
Okay.
made Origins, right?
Ah, okay.
Completely
and then you got
reimagined.
Odyssey.
And then you got Odyssey. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, so the past two themes, I think was Origins in Egyptian.
Yes, Origin was Egypt.
So I wasn't super fan of that style. I did watch a lot of gameplay people on Twitch. I like, the openness. So going to Valhalla, I like the Norse theme. I like the world. It's beautiful looking. I like the weaponry. I like the big map. I like the landscapes. Everything looks up my alley. I like the combat. I like so far everything I saw was cool. I like you can use Odin's vision to kind of see through walls and just kind of see through things. I like you can take
I like how they give you an
fly.
explanation
for that ability.
Yeah.
Right, because in a lot of Assassin's Creed games, like, I can see through walls. All right.
They're still
But-
trying
and
to
they give
add
you
a
an
little bit of
explanation, right?
mythical
Yeah.
in there.
Okay, as long as there's an explanation,
Yeah.
right? Even if it's supernatural, just give me how am I able to do this, right?
Yeah.
So that was neat. I like you can fly as a bird and get like a bird's eye view.
Yeah, they've
scout
had that in
things.
all the last ones.
Okay,
since
so
Origin.
that's a newer
Yeah.
feature.
Yeah.
So I like the large map. So I was watching some videos and they're barely, scouting one area, and they said, they got hours of just that area. And they did an overview of the map, and it was just massive. So this just looks like an awesome game to just explore and play. So I'm actually really hyped for this game.
Cool.
What about you, Sir Knight?
So I've played Origins and I've played Odyssey.
Okay.
I've been trying to get Gali Sovereign to play Odyssey, but he never will play it.
It's not that I will never play it. I just haven't gotten around to buying it.
Yeah, I
yet.
keep telling you.
I do wanna play
always
it.
message you when there's deals.
You said it's great.
Because it's very good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, okay, so I played Origins. That's pretty good. That's when they reimagined the whole Assassin's Creed genre and they made it an open world game.
So are we talking about like the new protagonist? It's like a different protagonist, or it's that same guy that keeps going into
It's
the
a
animatronic?
whole new protagonist. It's not the same Enzo
So that
or whatever.
storyline ended.
Yes, they're
Okay.
done with that, and even the way the game plays, like, these are much more open. Like, they're not like the original Assassin's Creed were open, but they're kind of linear. Like, you kind of move forward to a different
you were
city,
going through
you
a
move to
memory.
a different city. Yeah, you
Right.
swapped memories. This is just one open world, right? So
Okay.
Origin, there's no coming in and out to different memories in different locations.
Is there
It's
there
just
like
one
a popping,
open world.
Is there a popping in and out of the animatron, like telling two stories, like the
a
story
lot
of
less.
the guy inside the system, and then the story
Yes,
of the guy
but
getting
very,
into the system?
but much smaller.
Okay.
Like there is, but it's much smaller,
Okay.
right? So, another big reimagining for Assassin's Creed from Origin on, so Origin and Odyssey, is the loot collecting. It's much more RPG. Like you have specific loot slots, right? Your head, your shoulder, your chest, your weapons, bracers, and you're going around collecting these pieces of gear.
Okay.
And you can get different levels of rarity. So just like Borderlands, like it's super similar to Borderlands.
really?
You have the epic, you have the legendaries, you have
They
the
flipped that. They changed that
Yeah.
entirely.
yeah, it's
different.
completely
I saw
Before
reimagined.
you
damage
should just
numbers
have
and
your
things
stuff.
like
Yeah,
that.
damage numbers.
So
It's
that
all
was cool.
completely reimagined.
Okay.
So that was super fun. I love the openness. I love collecting. Like we've talked about this
yeah.
hundreds of times.
Yeah.
And so Origins was good, and you had the eagle, so you can kind of like look down and
Like a
you
scouter.
know, scout your guys
Yes.
ahead of time, so you can see where they're at. Odyssey's is just better. Odyssey to me is just flat better than Origins, and I liked Origins. Odyssey is just flat better because it has the sailing, so it's more like Black Flag.
Okay.
So you have like a whole world that you're sailing on your boat. So you have
that
your
one's
boat
in like
to upgrade.
Greece, right?
Yes, Greece. Okay. Yep. So you have like basically all the Greek Isles, right? Athens, all of it. It's so enormous. It's so stinking cool how big it is, like Odyssey is.
Yeah.
And you're just island hopping. Right, you're hopping from one island to the next, and there's things to find and things to explore. You have like a huge assassin list, like you have a big kill list.
Okay.
And like you get hints. So what you do is you go to like a location, you talk to a person, and they give you information on one of your hits. And the more information you compile, the more you can collect to find out where he's located, and then go.
Okay, so you start pinpointing a certain area, and then it's like, okay, it's this block radius, and then all right, it's in this building.
And then to the point where like, okay, I know the exact fortress he's in.
Okay.
So then I go in there, I scout it out, I find him, and what's really cool is it's super rewarding because when you do kill one of those guys, you get like a legendary piece, or you get something really cool and exciting, you know. So
can you tell me about those? I know in this trailer I saw some people fighting like bosses. Was there boss fights in Odyssey and Origins similar to what we saw in Valhalla?
Yes. They're not big. They're like other characters. Like I do know in Odyssey there was an arena. And you would go in there and you would be progression and you would fight like a powerful guy.
Dope.
It was dope. And you got more rewards the higher you went up.
Did you get like, that out. Was it like any unique stuff that like unique gear that you could get straight from the arena that you couldn't get? And was it any better than the other stuff you could find in the world?
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there to collect.
Okay.
Yeah, unique. So you don't want to go in there and see how high you can get and how far you can get, right? So yeah, there are some characters that are a little tougher to kill. A lot of your assassin targets though, you can just kill, right? But you know, so which I like, you know, if you sneak up on somebody and you put a knife in their neck, they're dead, right? Like they can't keep fighting you. But there were some fights, not quite like with a health bar, like in Valhalla, where they have like a health bar and like you're fighting boss. Like an actual boss with a health bar. It's not really like that. Gotcha. It's more so just like you have a character that's tougher, takes more hits, and you're like battling them out. But it's not like a health bar, like a real boss.
Gotcha.
So Valhalla seems to be identical to Odyssey to me.
Okay.
To me, it looks 100% identical.
Odyssey?
It's a reskinned Odyssey.
So
that's my opinion.
This is a good thing for you,
because I really liked Odyssey. Yes, it is a good thing because I really liked Odyssey. But to me, it's a reskin. So that's not a good thing because it's like kind of just
You've
like
already
lazy.
Played it, right?
I'm excited to play it again, but yeah, I've already played it.
Right,
so yes, it's gonna be great for like Mark, right? Who's never played it. You're in for a treat, right? Because it's really fun. Marcus, who hasn't played Odyssey, you're in for a treat too, right? For me, I'm gonna enjoy it because it's gonna be cool just to do that again. But there's some things that I was a little bit iffy on. I don't like the idea of burning villages down. Like I don't like the idea of walking
pillaging?
through. No, I don't like the idea of like burning and then it's like a village down to the ground. Like I'm fine going in and like taking things, stealing things, but to burn it to the ground is a little bit too heinous for me as an individual.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, right? Because it's one thing if you're like part of a pack and you're coming to these towns and you're, you know, in mass slaughtering everybody, but you're kind of playing stealthy. It doesn't make sense to make to do something so obvious when you're assassin. It's kind of contradictory. It's like
it's one thing in there
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's one thing in there to go fight your enemy, right? But then now I'm gonna walk through, I'm gonna burn every hut down. Like these are normal people, right? Like with families and kids. Like I'm not trying to burn down their whole village. Like that I'm not getting. That didn't exist in Odyssey. In Odyssey, you're fighting the guys and the guys only. You're not walking through and burning down a whole village.
See, so that kind of sounds like they're just trying to fully encompass you in the aspect of a Viking.
Right.
Because that's just what they did. And I feel like at the same time, it can be like a moral system, like in any of the other games that we've played where you had a decision like for Fable, right? You're helping a guy move barrels and to kill rats in his warehouse. So you as a little kid have the option to just kill the rats and get rid of his rat problem and then leave. Right. Or you can be a jerk and bash up all of his barrels and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so now he's at a couple of loss or whatever. So I feel like that's probably that same type of thing that they're kind of getting at. I don't think that they would force you to burn down a village if you didn't want to, but I think them giving you the option.
We'll see.
Is probably there's probably some type of a consequence to having that option.
It looked like the outpost method. Like that's what you did. You burned it down.
Okay.
You know, when you conquer like an outpost or region like that, you just burned it, torch it. Yeah. Like I didn't like that. It's kind of like in The Last of Us when you're killing somebody and they're making you mash it, and like you don't really want to do that, but like they're forcing me to do it. Like they're forcing me to press the button and
God
do it.
of War, where we're fighting Zeus and you have the opportunity to constantly bash Zeus's face in.
And you may not want to do that, but in order to progress the game and the community, they're forcing me to do this vicious thing.
Yeah.
Which to serve a point, I guess, is fine. Like to so just how wrong or damaging vengeance can be, right?
Yeah.
And how brutal it can be to make you hate it.
Yeah.
Because they kind of want you to make you hate what you're doing, which you are. But it's like I don't like that I have to do it. It's kind of like the same thing with this. Like I don't want to be the one throwing torches and burning people's villages down. Like that just for me, right?
Okay.
Is a little bit uncomfortable.
I got you.
But like I said, it looks very well done. It looks like a reskin of Odyssey, which is not a bad thing. So let me ask you this:
was there were skill trees in Odyssey and Origins similar to this?
Oh gosh, were there skill trees?
Because this I saw there's vast skill trees. There's the different types. There's like 3 different types of combat in this game.
So super hardcore RPG.
So you could progress depending on what.
There were perks, I believe, but I don't know I can't remember if it was a tree method or not. I know a lot of my power came from the affixes on my gear.
Okay.
Like certain gear had really cool, like legendary affixes that were really neat. That I remember for certain. Being excited to get those pieces of loot. I can't remember if there was like an actual tree or not.
Okay, so
maybe
this might be a little new
and
feature.
If there's more magic, like it'd be cool if I don't know if they're gonna add more magic, like because of the Merlin aspect, Norse magic. That'd be cool. That'd be kind of a little twist that I'd be excited to play around with, like more magic. I don't know if they're doing that.
You got Valhalla and all that.
Yeah.
All that myth and legend.
It's
that
a
comes
lot
with
of
that,
myth and legend, right? So they could do a lot of things. If there's magic, would be really fun. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. So, this is the second time we've seen it. So the first time we saw it, I was like, all right, cool. Assassin's Creed game. You know what I mean? I've enjoyed the Assassin's Creed series. The last one that I did play was Syndicate, and that one was cool, but I didn't play it enough, like where I was just like super enthralled with it. The last one that I really loved was Black Flag,
right.
And I feel like if you can't beat Black Flag, like why am I really playing it?
Which is why I keep recommending Odyssey, because it's super similar to Black Flag.
You told me about Odyssey, and I just hadn't gotten around to it because there was just like other things that were coming out at the same time, and it's just like my time for playing games is minimal as it is.
Right.
So
you're
it's
stingy.
like one game
picky.
might last me 2 or 3 months. I've just now started picking up more games than I have within like the last year or so.
Right.
But the first thing that I noticed when watching this new gameplay reveal and whatnot of Valhalla was the combat. It seemed like the combat was just like way different. It seemed like it was much faster paced. It seemed like it was a bit more of a button mashing type of gameplay than with the other one. I felt like the other one was kind of like a strike and a strike.
Parry.
Like your animations didn't allow you to just mash on square or something like that and do like a bunch of combos or whatever. And then I like low key, the first thing that popped in my mind was like Neo. You know what I mean? Like when I'm looking at it, like, I saw like footage of one of the Viking guy or whatever, the main protagonist. He had two axes or whatever, and they were like throwing axes or something like that. And he was able to throw them at people, and he was doing like wide swipes and fast combos and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, that feels just like the hatchets in Neo.
Dude, him throwing things was really cool. Throwing the axes was really cool.
Yeah, I mean that was like like in Neo 2, I played with the hatchets because it was one of the most versatile weapons. It allowed you for range as well as close combat.
So that reminded you of Neo.
So that reminded me of Neo 2. But everything I've seen, it looks like an Assassin's Creed game, so that's good and all. And it's gonna be on next gen, so that's like one of those things that I'm like, okay, I'll try it. It's been a while. And I really wanted to play Odyssey. I just never got around to playing it. I had been interested in Origins when I saw the Egypt thing. I just never got around to playing it. And the fact that you're telling me that they went like a complete RPG route as opposed to just like upping your repertoire of skills of how you could attack a victim or something like that and add more stealth into the equation. Now we're talking about gear pieces and things that can potentially make your strikes like more wicked pieces. And they just look good or whatever. I mean, like you probably know, like, you know, the gear or whatever looks like amazing or whatnot. But, so adding those aspects, right? Looking at it, just seeing that it's an Assassin's Creed game, right? They haven't just made like crap games. It's just that they soured me by making Black Flag.
No, that's why 100%. Like Syndicate is junk, right? Compared to like Black Flag.
Yeah.
And it's junk compared to these new games. Like they realize that, right? Like when you played Syndicate, you're like, gosh, this is boring. I'm doing the same exact thing over and over again.
Right.
I don't feel like I have anything to do.
And essentially Assassin's Creed is the same stuff over and over again.
The story isn't good enough, right? The story's not good enough to hold me hold my attention, right?
You want to keep playing.
It's not like The Last of Us, right? It's like, what am I playing this game for? Just to assassinate people? Like, that's not enough. I need a reason or a purpose.
Right, I agree.
Odyssey and Origins change that. They give you a reason. They give you a purpose. You're collecting loot. You know, you're killing people for a specific reason to collect an item you've been looking for. It's way more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So going on with our same thing, would you guys buy this day one, wait a while, or never buy?
This is a toughie. I think it's a day one right now for me. It's close. It depends.
Is it a day one because you don't know how many actual titles will be available at day one?
That's why it's a day one.
I feel you.
Like if I rated it right now, for me, if it was just a rating, it would be probably a buy at some point. But if there's not a whole lot to play, then I would buy it day one. So I'm more like what Marcus said, because it depends on how much is available that month or that week.
Exactly.
That I would put it to the side until something else came out. But it's good enough to where if there was nothing out, I would buy it and play it day one.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like that. I definitely feel like if there aren't a whole lot of titles out at this time, then it's going to be one that I get.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's going to be, it doesn't, right now, the vibe that I'm getting is not like, like with Ghost. I'm not going to download the digital copy because I don't want to wait the actual day of release to go out and get it.
Right.
You know, it feels like something that I will get, as long as it's just, you know, if it's in the good thing, you know, like, I'll go out, you know, that Friday and go grab it. But yeah, so
Depends,
it's
not like that hour one, but yeah. So what about you?
Yeah, and for me, I think it's a buy at some point.
Yeah.
Based on some of the things I've seen and what you guys are telling me, I like the itemization. I like it's more RPG because, like I said, I haven't played it since Black Flag. So it seems like they innovated quite a bit since I've been away from the franchise.
What I would say is, if I had not played, like, it's really good. So like if this is going to be your first entry into their reimagining of AC, it should be pretty high on your priority scale because you'll really have a lot of fun.
So
with
I
it.
always see Origins and Odyssey go on sale for cheap, $7.
$7. You need to hit me up on that
for Origin,
Just
and
for Odyssey,
$14, $12 for like Odyssey.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so good.
I think right now they're on sale, in fact. So I think I'll buy one.
Buy Odyssey.
Okay, buy
if
Odyssey.
you're gonna buy one, buy Odyssey.
And then that's not gonna taint his play with Valhalla.
No, he'll like it. He'll like it. I mean, if I promise you'll like it, and then you'll be looking forward. This will then become a buy at some point. Okay. Like once you play Odyssey, it'll become a buy at some point.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
But so you need to be playing one of those soon, though, right? So like it is a day one in a sense for you because it's really good.
Yeah.
But once you've played Odyssey, it'll become a buy at some point for you too.
Gotcha.